I love this wreath because you can use the things that you've gathered. It's a tiny little wreath. So picking up sea glass or seashells at the shore and gathering tiny rosebuds and little pieces of moss all works together to create something that is more than just a piece of decor. It's a memory. So we start with this tiny little wreath, and the first thing that I'm going to do is add a hanger on it with a piece of copper wire. It's pretty easy and self-explanatory. You just stick it through the back and twist it together. So this wreath is, I usually make them in threes. I showed at the beginning and I will show at the end, and I make each one a tiny bit different. All right, so we've got that hanger on there, and the next thing we're going to do is put this reindeer moss all around the wreath. But you do want to make sure that the moss is covering the top and the outside of the wreath. So just make sure that's well secured. And this moss, I put this on first because it actually helps all the other little things to stick to the wreath better. Seashells and sea glass, sometimes it's very hard to stick to grapevine, but if you lay down this moss, you can have a really good base for it. You could also use Spanish moss. That's another possibility, but this wreath is really small and the Spanish moss just was getting a little bit too big for that. So, okay, you can see this is all coming together now. Seriously, it looks so cute and fluffy, doesn't it? And honestly, from here, you could use it as a base for anything. You could do little tiny acorns, you could do a fall wreath, or you could just do simply flowers. Okay, I have no idea why I just waved my hand over the recording like that. Let's continue. So now I have some copper wire. I just love the way copper looks with these tiny little wreaths. It just adds just a little bit of shine and texture. And I wrap it around the wreath just so that it's almost like if you could imagine a ribbon, but instead of a ribbon, it's copper wire. So you just thread it through, and you do this first at the base because it's harder to do once you have the shells and the flowers on there. So, you know, the first time I ever discovered a shell and flower wreath was at a store in St. Augustine. I was on St. George Street and I was a teenager, and actually it's the little spark that ignited the fire of my whole career in floristry. I was absolutely entranced, is that a word, entranced, by this woman's work, which was taking shells and flowers and just creating bouquets and wreaths and ornaments. And her shop was beautiful. It no longer exists, but that love of mixing the beach and the garden never went away in me. So these little tiny shells I've picked up along the beach. You know, small ones are easier to find than large ones. And you always wonder, what the heck do I do with these shells? Well, here you have it. So as you can see, I'm gluing these down now, and you have to make sure you get a little bit of glue on the very tip and the edges so it sticks, and you have to press it down so that you have a firm connection there. But the moss really helps with this. Next, I'm going to start adding the sea glass. The sea glass I had received from a very good friend who lived in the Caribbean for a while and used to pick up all this beautiful glass off of the beach, and she mailed it to me. I had a little bit of my own, but this is real sea glass and it's beautiful. I also love pictures with sea glass. I'm sure some of you have seen that. Anyway, so as you can see, I kind of go around in a circle when I'm making a wreath, and I eyeball everything. I never sit down and plan out, oh, this is going to go here, this is going to go there. I just pick things up and decide where to put them, and I keep going. So as you see, I did the shells, I did the sea glass, and now I'm going around with rosebuds, and then I will keep going around again and again until I have it as full as I like it. And these little rosebuds are so cute, aren't they? I love the way they smell. They have a really great fragrance, and you can buy them online. You can gather them, of course, but to gather enough for projects is a little bit difficult sometimes. So yeah, I'm just going around the circle and creating with them. I also love to make shell and flower bridal bouquets, which I'm working on some videos now for, and I actually sell quite a few of. These little wreaths, if you like them, you can easily sell them because the cost of materials is not too high. Of course, you're going to charge for your labor, and I think that if you wanted to make these and sell these at a craft fair, they would go very well. Okay, for those of you who are probably tired of hearing me talk now, let's just speed this up and you can watch me go around the circle and just keep adding as is needed. So here we have it, our finished beach and garden wreath, and I really believe with all my heart that you are going to enjoy making these. I could make these all day. I could probably make easily 20 in a day. So if you want to sell them or give them away, there's an infinite variety that you could try your hand at.